Building true, lasting wealth isn't actually about the size of your paycheck. I know that sounds crazy, but it's entirely about your daily habits. So, welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to completely redefine how we look at money by exploring the daily habits of wealth. Let's get right into it. Picture this. You've got two friends. They graduate from the exact same university, land super similar jobs, and they both start out earning exactly $5,000 a month. So on paper, their starting lines are completely identical. But fast forward 10 years. Friend A owns multiple investments, enjoys serious financial freedom, and is well on track to retire early. Friend B, well, they're living completely paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt and just constantly wondering where on earth all their money went. So, what gives? What actually changed here? Well, it wasn't luck. And it wasn't that one friend was just inherently smarter or more gifted than the other. It was entirely about how they managed their money, day in and day out. Today, we're going to break down the 5 foundational money rules that literally separate the rich from everyone else. Okay, let's dive right into this with rule number 1. Buy assets, not liabilities. Now, this one requires a pretty massive mindset shift. Society is always telling us that buying expensive, flashy stuff is the ultimate sign that you're rich, but in reality, those luxury purchases are quietly making people poorer by the day. To really nail this, we have to strip it back to the absolute bedrock of personal finance. Just a super quick refresher. An asset is simply something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That incredibly simple distinction is the anchor for literally everything else we're going to talk about in this explainer. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Take John. John drops 50 grand on a brand new luxury car, and honestly, it is a massive liability. The literal second he drives that thing off the lot, poof, it loses a huge chunk of its value, along with his financial dignity, really. Plus, he's instantly hit with insurance, maintenance, fuel, and repairs. Every single month, this car is just bleeding money from his pocket. Now, let's look at Sarah. Sarah takes that exact same $50,000, but she uses it as a down payment on a rental property. This is an asset. Each month, that property generates steady rental income for her, and over time, the property's overall value actually goes up. John bought a liability. Sarah bought an asset. Adopting this mindset is an absolute game changer. Alright, let's move to rule number 2. Make your money work for you. The vast majority of people trade their time for money, right? They work incredibly hard for every dollar. The wealthy do the exact opposite. They make their money work for them. The ultimate goal here is generating passive income. Just imagine earning real spendable cash while you are literally sound asleep in your bed. Consider the stark contrast between David and Emily. David brings home $4,000 a month from his salary, but he spends pretty much every single penny of it. He's completely trapped in the cycle. If he stops working, his income immediately stops. Emily also earns $4,000 a month, but she has this brilliant wealth-building habit. Every single month, she puts her money to work by investing $800 of it. What's really fascinating about Emily's approach is how accessible it makes starting out. You don't have to go all in right away. Even living on $3,200 for her expenses, which, by the way, is 80% of her paycheck, she's still consistently putting $400 into dividend stocks and another $400 into index funds. Fast forward a few years, and those investments are paying her dividends. Eventually, she's going to be earning money to pay for her vacations while she's actually on vacation without lifting a finger. That is the true definition of financial freedom. Which brings us directly to rule number 3. Time is more powerful than money. A really huge trap people fall into is delaying their investing journey just because they think their salary is too low. They think, oh, I need a massive stockpile of cash before I can even start. But delaying, it's a massive mistake. Time is, without a doubt, the ultimate wealth multiplier. Check this out. Take Alex, who starts investing just $300 a month at age 22. Then we have James, who waits until he's 35 to start investing that exact same $300 a month. Even if James earns a way higher salary later in his career, look at them in the retirement phase. Alex ends up with significantly more wealth. Why? Because compound growth massively, and I mean unfairly, favors the person who starts early. The stark difference there is entirely because of time. So the absolutely crucial point here is perfectly summarized in this famous investing rule. Time in the market is more important than timing the market. It is not about magically guessing when stocks will go up or down. It's about getting in early and just letting compound growth do all the heavy lifting for you over the decades. Moving right along to rule number 4. Invest in knowledge before investments. Now, this is a habit shared by literally every single successful entrepreneur out there. They are totally obsessed with continuous learning. Why? Well, because investing in your own knowledge is the absolute best way to avoid incredibly expensive financial mistakes down the road. Let's look at how two totally different people handle a $10,000 windfall. Person 1 takes that 10 grand and blows it on designer clothes, the newest phone, and luxury vacations. I mean, sure, it's a quick hit of dopamine, but within months, the money is completely gone. Now look at person 2. They spend that 10,000 learning high-income skills, things like digital marketing, investing, business strategy. Person 1 bought fleeting, temporary happiness. But person 2, they built the actual foundation for long-term income-generating opportunities. Skills create opportunities, guys, and opportunities create wealth. And that leads us perfectly into our final rule, rule number 5, think long-term. We live in a modern society that is absolutely obsessed with instant gratification. We want quick money, we want quick success, quick results, but real wealth, it just doesn't work that way. It requires immense, steady patience. Imagine you're planting 2 trees. The first one shoots up incredibly fast. It looks super impressive right off the bat, but it lacks deep roots and dies within a single year. That's kind of like your crypto day trading trend, right? Now consider the second tree. It grows really slowly. You might not even see much above ground progress for years, but eventually it becomes a giant, deeply rooted tree that produces fruit for decades. That is what real, lasting wealth creation looks like. Think about global giants for a second. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, they didn't just magically happen overnight. They are giants built entirely on patience. Their massive dominance is a result of years and years of consistent innovation and slow, steady growth. The wealthiest investors know for a fact that consistency will always beat out the latest financial fad. Alright, so now that we know the rules of the wealthy, I want to pivot for a second, because there are some pretty severe traps out there, common everyday habits that keep millions and millions of people completely financially stuck. Let's rapid fire through these. There are massive speed bumps to wealth you absolutely must avoid. Spending before you save, buying things purely to impress other people, or depending entirely on just a single source of income. Then there's completely ignoring investing, taking on unnecessary consumer debt, and, oh man, the absolute biggest one, waiting for the perfect time to start. Actually, scratch that, there is no perfect time. Every single one of these bad daily habits acts as a massive roadblock on your journey to wealth. But hey, here is the empowering part. You can completely change your trajectory today. By bringing all of these rules together, we can clearly see that building wealth is absolutely accessible to you right now, even if you aren't rich yet. It really just comes down to a few highly actionable habits that you can start today. First, start small and save consistently. You don't need a fortune to begin. Next, make investing a non-negotiable regular habit, just like Emily did. Always keep learning to continuously increase your value and your skills. And finally, stretch your timeline. You have to think long-term. Financial freedom is not an overnight event. It's built on thousands of smart, small decisions repeated over many, many years. Which leaves us with this final, somewhat provocative question to ask yourself today. Will your daily habits create freedom, or will they make your money disappear? Remember, money is literally just a tool. Used wisely, it creates incredible security and opportunity. Used carelessly, it vanishes faster than you can even imagine. The ultimate choice is yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this empowers you to start actively building your own lasting wealth.